Welcome into the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford studio this afternoon, 12:30-ish as we hit the record button today. We will talk a good bit of baseball. Ole Miss baseball losing 2 out of 3 to Arkansas over the weekend. The Razorbacks winning the first and the final game, a final game that was quite the marathon, 18-14, and just shy of 5 hours for that one on Sunday. The Rebels overcoming an 11-0 deficit there at one point, but falling 18-14. So that spring foot practice was open on Saturday. Hideki Matsuyama won the Masters. He's the first Japanese major winner on the PGA Tour. So that and more coming to you on the show again. Brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. Download the Speed Pass Plus app. Take advantage of that because you earn points and save money there with the Oxford Exxon. Also go in, get the lunch special, $5.69 every single weekday. 2 sides of bread, 32-ounce drink. The hot case has chicken, pork, side items, dessert, and much more. Maybe you took advantage of the barbecue specials over the weekend. Any barbecue item earned you a free Ole Miss t-shirt at the Oxford Exxon. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
Absolutely. Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is that number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get the quote. The rest is completely up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can do what I've done, what I'd recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. The service is amazing. Products are great. Corey and the people there at Clark Ford, they want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. People say, what does that mean? They prove it to you. You make the call. 662-257-1900. Rafters Music and Food was packed over the weekend, as was most everything in Oxford. Guests join us on the Rafters Music and Food hotline. Be a great place this week. This weekend coming up, Ole Miss in Starkville. You can catch the action at Rafters. They've got drink specials, burgers, po' boys, great appetizers, full beer selection, full bar, the whole deal at Rafters Music and Food. Be a great place to spend what should be a really nice April weekend in Oxford there or in New Albany.
So we're going to get into the actual baseball stuff in a second, but I've got a very dorky thing here from a baseball standpoint that you'll probably appreciate, and maybe nobody else will, but that's okay.
All right.
So I guess on Sunday Night Baseball, or at some point, Alex Rodriguez made mention that the catcher that he was watching, which I think was Travis d'Arnaud, he had switched to a one-knee setup waiting on the ball from Will Smith, meaning not a conventional setup, but, they go to one knee, and that's how they present to the pitcher behind the plate, and that he didn't like it because it restricted mobility, and Will Smith's issue sometimes is throwing that slider in the dirt, and it bounces and gets away, and that would create more problems. So Baseball America does this huge deep dive on, does it actually create more wild pitches, or is it harder to block and receive from that position versus a conventional catcher setup?
Okay.
And what's interesting about it is there was hardly any difference at all between the all-the-time conventional setups and the all-the-time one-knee setups. However, the people or the catchers that did the hybrid setup, meaning if nobody was on base, they went one knee because they thought it presented better. And then if somebody got on base, they moved into a conventional. They were way worse in blocking. And now, again, who knows if maybe the best catchers do it one way and the worst catchers do it another way. I don't know. But there was a huge statistical difference in the ability to block and receive from the catchers who switched it up.
I'm trying to think who I've ever seen set up one knee
all the time
consistently. And the two names that come to mind of guys that did it some or a good bit were Benito Santiago. Pudge Rodriguez would do it some.
Mm-hmm. They say there was almost a perfect split between the two styles. Of the 54 catchers they looked at, 22 were classified as using conventional and 21 were one knee.
Really?
Yeah. 10 used the hybrid. So, like Chance Cisco, he said was too unpredictable, so his data was not even used because it was just back and forth to the point they couldn't figure it out. Jan Gomes was kind of hybrid-ish.
Yeah.
Cam Gallagher's on here anyway, but nonetheless, yeah, they looked at like 80-something% of the pitches so far this season or last season or whatever it was they looked at. I mean, it was a ton of data. And they realized that if you just did one all the time, you got pretty good at it. But when you tried to do both, you were far inferior.
You're right. They're going down dorky lane. I mean, it's
I saw it. I was really intrigued by it. I don't know.
I'm with you.
And I'm not even a catcher, but I was like, okay, I'm all in. Like, because my Baseball America thing, I don't know what my subscription is. Mm-hmm. So I had to go to my computer where it was saved because I couldn't get into it on my phone because I didn't know my password. Just for the heck of it, as I move on, conventional receivers throw out 24.9% of base stealers. One knee setup catchers throw out 26.2% of base stealers. And those that do hybrid throw out a worst 22.7% of base stealers. So actually, you're worse throwing and catching if you do the hybrid.
I would think you'd want to get one and master it. You'd have to have a hell of an arm from the one knee. Because you're throwing from the knee.
So I've actually got a list. One knee catchers: Alex Avila, Austin Hedges, Austin Nola, Austin Romine, Chadwick Tromp, Christian Vasquez.
You're naming a lot of backup defensive-minded catchers.
I am, probably.
Who are the conventional catchers they named? I'm curious.
I mean, again, the list is huge. Knapp, Barnes, Gallagher, Carson Kelly, Danny Jansen, Drew Patera, Jacob Stallings, Jeff Mathis, Jorge Alfaro, Kurt Suzuki. I mean, you got a catcher to look up. Maybe that's the easier way to do it. Okay.
I'm good.
Cheers. Okay. Yasmani Grandal, conventional. Contreras, conventional.
Yeah. I like Grandal a lot. And Contreras has become a better defensive catcher.
Anyway, I'm done. One of those things. Your weekend was good. Read 10 Thoughts. It looked like you had a busy, eventful.
Had a big weekend. It was a good weekend.
Kind of one of those you'll remember a little bit.
Yep, it was a lot of fun. It was a good.
What's the obviously did it with Campbell a couple years ago. How's the emotion? Carson's still here, but the empty nest, losing another one. How does that for the second compared to the first?
Did you bring a tissue in here?
Okay, well, I mean, I probably could.
It's okay. It hits us here and there a little more.
Does it really? More?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because more out of the house than in?
Well, Campbell was really social and was gone a lot. And so sometimes we didn't realize Campbell wasn't here. Caroline hangs out with us a little bit more. Okay. So we feel that. And then sometimes Carson's like, man, it's going to be weird, next year. We're like, yeah. Because he's a boy, and he goes upstairs to his room, and that's that. I don't know. Yeah, it's different. It's different for sure.
Yeah,
it'll be weird in the fall, but she's excited. She's looking forward to it. She's ready to get started. So the fact that she's so eager makes it a little easier. She's
ready to go.
You're ready to go.
Which is what you want. You want prepared, ready, eager.
Yeah. She's got her roommate, and she's already got her floor picked out, and her room's actually picked out, and she knows a bunch of, the Instagram has changed the world for kids like that. I mean, she already knows 2/3 of the girls who are going to be on her dorm floor. Not knows them, but communicates with them, is familiar with them. So,
where's her roommate from?
Dumas, Arkansas.
Okay, how'd that?
Campbell and her roommate's big sister are friends.
So there's a connection.
Yeah.
So we weren't random watering it and then seeing.
No. So they've met, and it's all good.
They have a big weekend in Oxford. All the Arkansans.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like half from the sounds of things, it sounds like half the campus was here. I think it was one hell of a party in Oxford over the weekend, which is great for Oxford.
What was interesting about that is, and maybe I wasn't paying attention. I don't know, people on our stream that were at the game, they might can tell me. I saw tons of Arkansas fans on Saturday. I knew Arkansas brought a big crowd.
Yeah.
However, I didn't hear them much on Saturday. And I mean, they won the first game. I'm not making some joke. It was pretty even.
Yeah.
Sunday, I heard a lot more Arkansas people for whatever reason. I mean, the Pig Sueys were louder. They were just kind of different. That kind of surprised me a little bit for whatever reason that I noticed more Sunday.
I would have expected a flip-flop of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
The weather was fantastic. It was a huge crowd. I said this all week. I thought these were two pretty similar teams from a talent standpoint. it went about the way I thought it would go. I thought one team would win 2 out of 3. I didn't know who would win it. I said there was no way, in my opinion, anybody was going to sweep anybody.
Yeah. Dead bullpens decided a game in Sunday, whatever.
They have a little more bullpen than Ole Miss, and that showed. I mean, but the people that are doing this, oh God, season's over, sky's falling. It was 14-14 after 7 innings in Game 3 of an even series.
Yeah.
Arkansas pulled away and did what Arkansas does in the first game. That's what they do. They run pitch counts up. They get into your bullpen, and they make you pay. That is, whether you like them or not, that is their DNA. That is their MO. That's how they operate. They've won, 13 games from coming from behind, and that's how they do it. Nikhazy was terrific in Game 2. Ole Miss bats got going. They dominated that game, pulled away late, won
Heard
easily.
A lot of Broadway and won the game.
Yeah, used Broadway and cruised and won the game. And then Game 3 was a circus. It was a Sunday in the SEC between 2 really good teams who were not going to give an inch. And that's what you get. And when you get one of those, and I'm not trying to be flippant here, somebody has to win.
Yeah.
And so they did. They Ole Miss's bullpen, I thought in the 8th inning Sunday, you could tell they're spent. They're done. They're completely out of fuel. There's nothing left, and they made some mistakes in the strike zone. Couldn't throw strikes.
Yeah, Ole Miss walked 17 on Sunday
and hit 2.
Yeah, so 19 free base runners on Sunday.
That's not the path to victory.
Well, because like somebody asked Mike after the game, they said, "Hey, did you get thrown out for motivation?" He goes, "No, I got thrown out because I was basically pissed off," is what he said, because he couldn't throw strikes. He was just frustrated, and then just it kind of bowled over.
I got to the gym. Carson had soccer. I dropped him off. We were listening to the first part of the game. By the time I got to the gym, it was 8-0, I think.
Yeah.
And then it's about the time I got set up on the treadmill, the kid hit the 3-run homer to make it 11. And I'm thinking, ooh. Because I'd kind of planned my long Sunday run around this baseball game.
Yeah, sure. And it's 11-0.
And I'm like, boy, I didn't bring music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, but Ole Miss did. They did that thing where they chipped away fast and they got into it. And even here's where I thought you see a lot of Ole Miss's character. It's one thing to get back into the game, but then Arkansas put up a 3-spot.
Yeah, when it goes 14.
And at that point, it's 14-6. And at that point, the thought's got to cross your mind.
Hey, that was fun, guy. Hey, no fault. Good.
We made them work, but we're done. And Ole Miss didn't do that. And then, to come back and make it 14-14 and force them to go to cops, where I'm sure they didn't want to go to cops for a 9-out outing.
A day after he'd already thrown.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not what the game plan was. And at 11-0, I'm sure Van Horn was probably thinking, you know what, I might be able to get out of here tonight without using him. And they had to. I don't know. You can dissect so many ways.
Tons of character from us to get back into it, but also you see this a lot in baseball. You've seen this in basketball. You don't see it as much in football, just the way the game's set up. But when you make a comeback like that, it drains you. Sure. So many pitches. There's so much high intensity to get back in it where the other team's not dealing with the same thing. I mean, Ole Miss is stressing a whole lot more down 11-5 than Arkansas is up 11-5.
Yeah, sure.
And leverage pitches wear you out. Leverage at bats wear you out. Just the overall whatever. And I felt like, when they went to the top of the 8th, I was kind of thinking, okay, Broadway might find a way to find 5 outs. Ole Miss might score a run and win this thing 15-14. But thought if Arkansas does anything, Ole Miss is just out of gas.
You knew that was the pivotal top inning, in half inning. And
they had to get a shutdown, and it was just.
And had they, I think they win the game.
Yeah, who knows?
But at that point, it's a 2-inning game. Give Arkansas some credit because they could have panicked and gone, oh my God, this is going to be the worst loss ever.
And it would have been pretty embarrassing.
And it would have been rough.
Yeah.
But they didn't. To their credit, they put a few at-bats together against a tired bullpen, and they got their runs, and they got out of there, and the Cops kid is really good. He has a really good curveball.
Yeah, I thought, and it's kind of what happened from a standpoint of how I thought the series went in. I think I said on Wednesday's show or whatever, I thought Ole Miss would win on Saturday with Doug. I thought Ole Miss would lose on Sunday, and I thought Friday would be the swinger. And frankly, it was, because you look at the opening game on Saturday, whatever, the doubleheader's throwing me off on days. But Gunnar Hoagland took a no-hitter into the 6th inning. I mean, that game was very winnable for Ole Miss, and they just kind of did some stuff and fell apart, and it kind of got away from them a little bit. So,
wasted a lot of pitches. They got their pitch count up. When he got up, he was at 100 pitches.
And if Mike made a mistake throughout the entire weekend, I thought it was in the first game on Saturday. And some of this is program DNA that I thought was a bad call. Some of this was just Gunner and different things. Wasting so many pitches at 0-2, 1-2 when you know Arkansas is trying to do that.
Right.
You've got to play the opponent a little bit, and I know that's what Ole Miss does. I know they throw a lot of outside breaking balls, a lot of outside fastballs when they're ahead in the count. And I know Dunhurst sets up exclusively outside almost all the time when Ole Miss is ahead in the count. But when Arkansas they're trying to score, but in a lot of ways they're just trying to get rid of you as much as anything else.
Yeah, that's their MO. Yeah, it's what they do.
That when you give away so many pitches in that scenario, Gunner's at 95 instead of 78, where it's an inning and a half, and it makes a huge difference as you move forward because he was dominant. They were not hitting him, and by the 6th, he was up around 100, and he kind of, he had some walks. He wasn't as good as I've seen him this year. He was good, but he wasn't great.
Well, the other problem when you waste pitches is now you put the pressure on your guy. At 1-2, go get him. At 0-2, go get him.
Mm-hmm.
You let it go to 2-2, and then you miss your spot. Well, now it's 3-2.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not shocking anybody here with my grasp of math, but at 3-2, it's even again. You've given away your advantage. Now the pressure's on you to make a pitch. Mm-hmm. So now you're making a high leverage pitch. I will say this. What's his name? Lyle Lockhart?
Yeah.
It's spelled like you would say Lyle, but it's Lyle.
Yeah. He's
lucky I'm not the manager at Arkansas because the whole 0-0 lead, bottom of the third, and you walk the leadoff man. No.
Mike always says it's really hard to pitch with a lead, so maybe that was the case.
I would have thrown bats at him out of the dugout.
Throw it down the middle.
I mean,
see how far he can
put it on a tee. We're not walking him. There's 7 dudes back here.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, they all have gloves. Let's just give it a shot. Why don't we?
Yeah, Arkansas wasn't clean on the mound by any standpoint. I mean, on the weekend, and like I mentioned this morning, their ERA was like 8-something in the bullpen over the weekend. I mean, they were – I'm curious. This is outside of the Ole Miss series. This is outside of Ole Miss in any way whatsoever. I have a really strong interest in like 5 or 6 SEC teams as far as how they maneuver the season, what they do in the postseason because of the way they're built.
Yep.
Arkansas is one of those in so many ways. I told Neal this morning, they're great at nothing and bad at nothing. And I'm kind of curious what just a across-the-board good team does throughout a postseason because
they're never dominate a regional.
They're never going to have the starter come in and go, oh, my God, 9 innings, a shutout where you went, holy hell.
Right.
They don't have that. They're very middle of the pack in starting pitching. They grind at bats, but if somebody just comes right at them, what happens? I mean, there's all these things.
They can be shut down.
Yeah, all of them did it. I mean, frankly.
Yeah, they're a strange team, yet, like you said this morning, there's nothing that you look at them and you go, boy, they're bad there.
No. B across the board is A in total, and that's what they are. So I'm curious what that looks like. I don't know.
But listen, and I wrote this morning, I still think every one of Ole Miss's goals is in play.
This 4 in the league. They're on pace to go 20-10 in the SEC.
This whole deal, stop, man. I mean, I know that game got emotional because it's emotional and sports are emotional, but for both of those teams, neither one was having their season ruined yesterday. It just wasn't happening. If you're Arkansas, you got to be thrilled. You've gone into the state of Mississippi and played 2 damn good baseball teams and gone 5-1. I mean, that's
good.
That is a feather in your cap. But if you're Ole Miss, you're fine. You got to put it away and turn the page.
You have to be. You need a good SEC record after 21 SEC games with the new rule, because they're going to make the decisions after 21 SEC games. I think 12-9-ish makes you fine.
So they got to go
any better than that, and you need. I mean, look, you'd like to be better, but I think 12-9 is the cutoff. Where if you're 11-10, you're going.
So if I told you they got 1 in Starkville, 2 against LSU, and 2 against A&M, you'd say they're done. They're in.
That's 12 for sure. Hosting the first round. It's again, as far as we know, I don't know what the NCAA is doing. I mean, we can have this conversation, but I don't have any freaking idea what they have in mind.
Look, if they like money, they're watching.
But they're going to cap attendance. What difference does it make?
I don't know.
You don't.
Okay.
I still think they're capping.
All right, but let's go down this road quickly.
Should we come back and do it, or you think it's
we can we can tease it.
All right.
You
know where we're going. We'll get there in a minute.
Yeah.
Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Brought to you by Lamons Fine Jewelry in Oxford. Lamons is at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard. They've been serving the Oxford area for 3/4 of a century, basically, from engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, everything. They're the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lamonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. Also brought to you by Muddy Water Camo. Go to muddywateroutdoors.com and check out their great selection as we shift from the cold weather outdoors gear to the hot weather, warm weather outdoors gear. They've got it all at muddywatercamo.com, muddywateroutdoors.com. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, it's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Complete selection of previously owned Nissan vehicles, new and used vehicles as well. So it's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air. Comer Heating and Air is the name you can trust. They have more than 50 years of professional HVAC experience in Oxford, Tupelo, and the surrounding area. You need to do what I'm doing today, which is, hey, I've got one of my air conditioning units acting a little weird. It's about to get hot. Chase and I were both talking about how we went out to run outside today, and you can feel the difference. So you want to make sure that air conditioning is running in tip-top shape. So give them a call, 662-801-1777. And it'll be a couple of weeks till the Grove Bowl, 13 days, or 12 days, actually. So you're coming up for the LSU weekend. You want to make sure that you're decked out in the best, latest Rebel gear. Get in touch with the College Corner. It's your one-stop Rebel shop, 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's not a problem. You can visit the College Corner at collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. So whether you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day, the largest selection of Rebel gear in Central Mississippi.
Podcast is ready by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com/events. See everything going on locally every single week when the baseball team returns home for LSU. It is Grove Bowl weekend. They've got the bus tours 3 and 4 o'clock on that Friday. You can reserve those times there at the Visit Oxford website or by stopping by there just off the square. And a full slate of events as it is Pop-Up Oxford Spring Edition with Visit Oxford. Again, visit oxfordms.com/events. Yeah, I think bids were sent out with 25% in mind from an attendance standpoint.
You know.
But what this does is that brings in, is it merit? Is it not? Because it's not money anymore. I mean, 25% at Ole Miss is still 25% more in Tennessee. I understand that.
But the tournament doesn't start for another
I understand
8 weeks, right?
First week of June, last week of May, whatever. Yeah.
So, yeah. 7, 8 weeks.
Yeah.
There's 7 weeks of the schedule left.
Sure.
Is that right?
Yeah, 6.
6
and
weeks.
Then
So it's 8 weeks.
Yeah, 8 weeks. You think they're grandstanding?
I don't think it. I know they're grandstanding. I mean, but you have to.
But you think they're grandstanding knowing they're going to change it?
Okay. And I know I'm asking you to be a rational thinker here and you're, or to think like an NCAA person, and you're much more of a rational thinker than that.
People keep sending me Tate Reeves tweets from this morning. Sorry, go ahead.
What'd he tweet?
Neanderthals 1, Biden nothing. Mississippi's 7-day average has dropped below 200 cases for the first time in a year. It's been 6 weeks, 3 times, just 2 more weeks for you experts since POTUS insulted us, down 60% from that day, now in 92% from that peak. Data doesn't play politics. Sometimes Biden does. Get a shot and live your life, Mississippi. Sorry, I just got distracted when I was staring at it. I guess it's somewhat relevant, germane to our conversation.
I mean, I didn't vote for Tate Reeves, but I would today.
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry. Well, my phone was just like, whatever. It was like, ding, ding. I was like, what the hell is going on?
Okay,
like,
but it's a good segue.
Okay.
Forget the baseball for a minute. Forget the umpires and the baseballs and bullpens and stuff. Forget it. Just throw it out. Let's talk about what I saw.
Okay.
People every freaking where.
It was a regional.
It was.
It was great weather. It was two great baseball teams. It was, frankly, my opinion, the best rivalry in SEC baseball.
Okay.
It had every makings of everything, plus a state that has opened up. And credit to Ole Miss, a school who didn't really give a shit. And
Okay.
was just saying, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, that's great.
I know. I'm
The
agreeing.
people were everywhere.
Yeah. That's my
They
point.
were everywhere.
It was the fourth and the fifth
yeah.
largest crowds on Saturday.
Yeah.
And we don't, as far as I know, they don't tabulate largest Sunday crowd. It was the largest Sunday crowd I've ever seen in the regular season.
Well, every time they would show a foul ball or something, the people were just packed everywhere. And so it
was the largest series attendance in program history, 30-something thousand and something, like 33,000 and something.
So on Sunday morning before they left, I asked the girls about the game. And I said, how many people were there? I mean, how packed was left field?
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, it was crazy. So I said, how many people were wearing a mask? And I told you Parker's probably the most level-headed observant of that group.
Okay.
She said 6. And I said, do what? She said, I counted 6. 6 masks in all of left field.
Mm-hmm.
So here's my point. If in 2 weeks, when Ole Miss plays LSU here for the Grove Bowl, and it's another circus, and there's no big outbreak, and there's not going to be, newsflash, we can put this charade away, can't we? We can just say, you know what? At the minimum, it's safe to have an outdoor event. So let's have an outdoor event. I don't know what the NCAA would be clinging to at that point. You can cling to this liability bullshit, frankly, and that's what it is. But if the evidence, and God knows we've done anecdotal evidence over the past 13 months, if the evidence says that nothing happens, then do it. The Rangers had 40-something thousand people at a game. I've yet to hear about the Dallas outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. Literally, there's a story in the New York Times that Mississippi has more vaccines than it can pass out right now.
Yeah, there's an excess of thousands or whatever the number is.
You have more vaccines than arms. In other words, if you want a vaccine, you can get one. It's literally that simple. So, whatever. Move on. If Ole Miss and or Mississippi State earn a regional, have a regional. And don't do the 25% thing. If they do that, I'm just letting people know I will be obnoxious about the pure theater of it all. Because at that point, you can't explain it in any other way. It's pure theater. Oh, Neal, the South American, South African variant.
Or it's the NCAA. It's fair to everybody else. Because if everybody can't go 100%, we can't let y'all go 100% for your regional. That would be unfair.
How's that unfair? Who's it unfair to? I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate with you.
Well, if I get sent to Ole Miss, I got to play in front of 10,000. If I get sent to Tennessee, I only have to play in front of 1,500. That's not fair to those two.
If you ask the kids on the team,
they would all like to go to Arkansas and South Carolina and Ole Miss. And
they want to play in that
A&M
environment.
Wherever A&M's not going to regional, but whatever.
I mean, the fans all hate each other, and you think the kids enjoyed the weekend? The kids that played?
Kids had a big time, probably. Yeah.
You think at any point the kids that played at Ole Miss and Arkansas, both, at any point thought to themselves, this is what I came here for. This is why I signed with Ole Miss. This is why I signed with Arkansas. This right here. This.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were in this for the student athlete. Isn't that what the narrative is? Who do you think the kids would rather play in front of? A full Swayze or Baum or Alex Box or Duty Noble? Or do you think they'd rather play in front of a socially distanced 20%? Which one do you think they'd choose? I think I know the answer.
You write the stories every single year that is the most boilerplate story, but it's relevant when the 3 seed and the 4 seed comes to Oxford and they go, holy crap, we wanted to come here for this.
Yeah.
You write it every year.
When the kids from Maine or whatever came down here and went, this is awesome. We know we're probably going to get our ass beat.
Yeah.
But this is the highlight of our year. This is why we won our league. This is what we played for. This is awesome. Hey, this is so awesome. In fact, can we come back next year?
And they did. They opened the year.
That's what it's about at the end of the day. I mean, I'm sure if you told Arkansas, their players, hey, you can pick where you want the super regional, they'd tell you, let's play it in Fayetteville. But if you told them, nope, it's going to be in Oxford, they'd say, sign me up. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
No one will forget that.
Yeah.
Isn't that the point? You want to grow the game? Here's the other thing with the NCAA. This is where it's and I'm being a complete jerk here, but I'm being honest. College baseball, the NCAA, you know this, Chase. Every single year they tell you, well, we really want to grow the game. Mm-hmm. All right, you really want to grow the game? What was the one scene from the weekend? Forget baseball. What was the one scene from the weekend that went viral?
The beer showers, I'm assuming.
The beer shower, home run in game 2. I don't even know who hit the home run.
Okay. Leatherwood.
Yeah. Hits a ball, and the place goes nuts, and you get all these people, Barstool and Clay Travis and all these people, like I wrote in 10 Thoughts, that should be your recruiting video. That's it right there. Come to Ole Miss. Here's why. You want to grow the sport? Well, you got to make people watch something that go, that's cool. Are they going to watch something like that? Or will they rather watch a game in a socially distant, sterile environment where there's just a handful of fans spaced out? You want to grow the sport? Because look, that game yesterday, for all of the wildness and craziness, it was 5 hours. You want to get people to invest for 5 hours? You're going to have to give them something like fans and atmosphere where people are like, man, that place is crazy.
Well, because on Saturday I'm sitting there, and I guess it's before the game 1, and the student section was regular season full. And I kind of looked up, and the line was still going up the hill beyond the scoreboard and center, and then like around the corner. And I was like, there's nowhere to put them. I don't know what they're going to do. And after about 3 innings, they fit them all in, and somebody behind me goes, 700 tickets. And I went, okay, yeah. Sure.
But it was cool, right? Yeah. I mean, everybody's talking about, man, that was awesome. You see people on Twitter going, I wasn't even thinking about sending my kid to a Mississippi school, but I kind of am now. Okay, well, you want to grow the sport? I mean, are you serious about growing the sport? Because if you're serious about growing the sport, you can't ignore the visual of what you saw this weekend. And I'm not talking about the baseball.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the atmosphere. You want to get casual Joe. Like me, I watched Sunday at the Masters because I'm kind of into – I like the Matsuyama guy.
Did you?
Yeah. Okay. Seems like a good dude. And then I see the stuff this morning.
He's very
and I'm
private. Like, he kind of doesn't like people. I mean, you might have found your dude.
He might be my guy.
He did not tell anybody he got married until his first kid was born.
Yeah, he's my guy.
He didn't tell anybody he was married.
I'm a fan. And then he's at the airport this morning with the jacket.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
It was awesome. I was like, dude, you're my guy.
Dude is sitting in a chair with the green jacket just thrown over the thing.
He's kind of looking at his phone, ready to go take a nap on the plane. It's my guy.
Where's Will's up to fly the Masters champion back to Tokyo or wherever he lives privately?
He was catching a connecting flight via Chicago.
A connecting flight. He was going from Atlanta to Chicago to Tokyo. What the hell is going on?
I know, it's great. But back to my point. I mean, you want to grow the sport. You got to get the casual college. You got to get the person who's not a seamhead to watch if you're really wanting to grow the sport. If you really want to make college baseball relevant. Yeah. College basketball, people watch college basketball in March and then don't watch it again until the next March.
Yeah, sure.
So if you want to make the postseason in college baseball relevant, and they tell me every year that they do, well, here's your chance to prove it.
Frankly, for the average fan, the regular season's relevant and the postseason's not.
Sure, but I'm not talking about...
I know what you mean.
Right.
I'm saying, though, but like what you're talking about, viewership, fans.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll watch Ole Miss and Arkansas on Saturday afternoon. Like, go to Omaha, okay, fine, but whatever.
Here's a better point.
Yeah.
That exact same game yesterday, which I think we can all admit is crazy, right? 11 to nothing, and then 14-14, and it's crazy, and coaches
slow pitch softball.
Coaches getting kicked out and all that stuff. If Swayze had been limited to 20%, that game's nowhere. Instead,
it turns it into one of the more boring, oh my God, please God, just end days of your life.
Where you're going, man, 5 hours, this is crazy. Can somebody please throw a strike?
Yeah.
Instead, it's like, God, this is
kind of theater.
Like, I mean, I remember thinking to myself, if this thing goes 10 innings, who pitches? I remember thinking the thought, if this thing goes 10 innings, at some point, Van Horn and Bianco, who I'm sure was still somewhat connected to the game.
He was just watching TV. Yeah. He was completely out of the...
I'm sure at some point they got to go, hey, time out. This doesn't mean anything. Let's take a step back.
And they both kind of still couldn't do it. I mean, Cops and Broadway both threw on 0 days rest. I mean,
emotion. What made it emotional? That's my point, was the crowd, the atmosphere, all that stuff. That's how you grow the sport. People are talking about a college baseball game on the Sunday of the Masters.
Mm-hmm. And it was the only college baseball game they were talking about.
Well, they weren't talking about Auburn, Mississippi State. They weren't talking about South Carolina, Missouri. They weren't talking about even Vanderbilt losing to Georgia. They were talking about on Saturday. They were talking about a doubleheader between Ole Miss and Arkansas. Why? Crowds. Because neither game was super dramatic. Arkansas had put the game away pretty much by the end in game one, and Ole Miss had absolutely put the game away at the end of game two. There wasn't any late drama in Saturday's games. People talked about it because of the atmosphere, because Oxford was freaking awesome.
Congratulations to Ole Miss, by the way. You will have the number one attendance in the country for the season because nobody else is letting people in or reporting accurate numbers. So that has already been locked up there for the Rebels heading into 2022.
Yeah. Put
the banner up, put it in the media guide, all that stuff. You're number one in the country.
How much do you think? Not by any, not because they were being weird about it, but just because you run out of the ability to count. How much do you think they actually undercounted Saturday?
I don't think they ever get a completely accurate student count.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah, I don't
even if they try, I just don't know.
Yeah, this is not an accusation.
No,
you run out of the ability to count.
It was probably an extra 800 to 1,000.
That's what I thought
guess. Too. Just a guess.
13,000 at that game.
It was a lot.
Yeah,
it was a lot. It was to the point. We got done with the Zoom. I'm like, I still think traffic's bad. I'll just hang out for a minute and kind of work here.
Well, you know where I am, where we are. You know how easy it is to get to OU Methodist from here. It was a 25-minute ride, and I knew side streets. The square at 5. It was 4:55, so the game had ended. The first game had been over for half an hour.
Yeah.
So it was still another 45 minutes before the second game started, and the square was bonkers.
I would like to have seen the square had Ole Miss just played the one game at 4 o'clock, and you had Saturday night completely free where it didn't go so late for that game. It would have been a football weekend kind of craziness around town had they just played the one scheduled game there when they were supposed to schedule it. Somebody told me that Saturday Van Horn was griping about start times, that he, because of the doubleheader thing, he was wanting a game at 12 and a game at 7.
Really?
Yeah, I have no idea why. I know nothing else, but I know there had to be some compromise between the coaches on what time the games were.
So he wanted a significant break.
He wanted a real-life day-night doubleheader. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it would have been
because Mike does 45 minutes, and essentially they
met in the
agreed at an hour 15, which, whatever.
Yeah.
It does take a minute to clear the stadium. That is that's a thing.
And you redo the infield and
and you get people. I mean, frankly, the problem with getting the stadium clear is you have to get people to leave.
Yeah,
they're not in a hurry.
And
so
it's my understanding that they didn't all leave.
It was I think there was definitely some premium areas where I was like, I don't know, it looks like y'all were just kind of camping out in the corner a little bit.
Yeah.
They cleared the outfield because they had general admission problems because the second game of the day was sold out. So if they didn't get everybody out,
we had people like Campbell and them who had tickets to the second game and didn't have tickets to the first game. Right.
That was the problem. So in the outfield stuff, they did have to kind of get them out of there and see what was going on.
I don't know what they're talking about. We're supposed to be noticing something. I don't know.
What are we talking about?
I don't know. In the thread, people are wanting us to notice something.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, look, NCAA regionals are undercounted on purpose everywhere in the country because you give a certain amount to the NCAA and you don't want to go crazy on what you actually brought in for the event. So that's not shocking. Am I missing something?
I don't know. Making sure. I don't know.
I did say Pinson went to LSU.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I saw it was down to LSU and Kansas, but that was a hell of a bidding war.
I mean, facilities at Kansas are a little better, so I wonder what Wade did to swing that. A little younger than Bill Self. He, the offense is a little more suited to him, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about, so beats me.
Strong offer. Strong offer, probably. To help him out. Podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area. They offer MedSync for your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you, whether it's one delivery or one carry-out there from the pharmacy. They will hook you up with that. And with Right Way Meds, they'll individually package your medication for those who need it. That can save lives in the right scenario. So, again, on South Lamar and Oxford, or the Square in Holly Springs, 662-236-2222.
I had not fixed one of the captions because the last time I did this, it was Zach and I were doing the soft verbal.
That.
So that's what it was. Would have been so much easier just to say, hey, fix the whatever.
Sure.
We're also brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi. They've got clients in multiple states, advisors in multiple states as well. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and more. They treat investing like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial retirement plan built just for you. It's pinnacletrust.com, PINNtrust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast to get 10% off your first year's fees. Also brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about traveling this summer, and I think a lot of people are, you want to make sure you get a great deal. There's great deals to be had. If you're thinking about booking something for the holidays, even if you're thinking about booking something for next year, you can get in touch with John. Just give him some parameters, give him a budget. He'll give you options. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John that you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. It's a podcast that's also brought to you by Oxford University Bank. OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with a live person. No 10 buttons to push, no 5 minutes to wait. To learn more, get in touch with the people at OUB. Live Oxford, bankoxford.com, or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And we're brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors. She sponsors my mailbag. I've got a question, thread up at rebelgrove.com. Whitney serves all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844.
Little news here. Britt Reed, the former Chiefs outside linebackers coach, son of head coach Andy Reid, has been charged with felony DUI for the accident that critically injured a 5-year-old back when that happens. Prosecutors say that Reed had a blood alcohol content of 0.113 and was driving 84 miles per hour, 1.9 seconds prior to hitting the disabled vehicle in the breakdown lane near Stadium Drive and I-435 in Kansas City.
Here's the part of that story that nobody talks about.
Dan Wetzel, by the way, reporting that.
Part of that story is that he left work. He'd been at work. He was drinking at work.
So he was hammered at work. 0.113.
Drinking at work, leaving work. So people, unless you believe that no one in the Chiefs' offices knew that he was in his office drinking. This is like, right? They were a day or two before they were leaving for the Super Bowl.
Yeah. It was right then.
Yeah.
See in our message board here, we got plenty of stuff to talk about, but I'm a little ADHD today. American Gladiator is getting a 30 for 30. I'm all in.
Is that the show?
You know, like Nitro and Turbo.
Oh, yeah.
With Zonka and whatever back in the day. That was probably more you than me. Like your era.
I'll watch that show.
Yeah.
For sure.
I'm all in. Like that was, as a kid, that was fun.
Yeah.
All in. Storm and rain and the whole deal. So, yeah, kind of excited about it.
I remember that show.
Wasn't one of your favorites?
No, I watched it. I remember.
What channel was that on? Like, who broadcast that? Was that like an ESPN thing, or was that like some random network?
Wasn't it like TBS or TNT or something?
Was it?
I don't know. I remember Blade.
It's in their 21-22 season. Deadline reporting that. Yeah, Malibu and Lance. Because they faced off with regular people. Like, it was like two regular dudes who then had to take on the gladiator course.
Rarely worked out.
I mean, you're doing like full football tackling and stuff. I mean, it was fairly hardcore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And you had to beat somebody else just to get the right to go face the gladiator.
Is that right?
Isn't
or
that
did you
right?
earn points against the gladiators throughout the show, and then somebody won, and then because remember you had like the obstacle course. What was it called?
I don't know.
The end of it had a name, and I forget what it was called. Apparently, I was a little more into this than I remembered at the time. It was on, let's see, from 89 to 96. Looks like. Something like that. Joe Theismann, Todd Christensen, Larry Zonka.
Yeah, it's a little more your days.
Yeah. Trying to see how many episodes ever there were. There were 139 episodes.
Really?
Yeah. That's a lot.
They have like the Oklahoma drill or?
Yeah, there was Oklahoma in there.
Was it really?
Seriously. Yeah, like very similar.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Gladiators featured 4 competitors, 2 men, 2 women in most episodes. They faced off in a series of physical games against each other and against a cast of costumed athletes looking to prevent them from succeeding. The titular gladiators, every match was part of an overall tournament. I forgot that too. Yeah, you like moved through brackets, like it was like a deal. I kind of forgot that was the way that was worked. So anyway, became single elimination at one point. Some cash up for prize there. Anyway, okay.
Did you get to watch much of the Masters, or because you were pretty tied up?
Well, Saturday and Sunday, I had a lot of time for it to be on my computer in front of me. Saturday, I was really locked in. I mean, yeah, I was playing golf Thursday. I saw absolutely nothing. I saw very little Friday, other than I got to the airport a little early, and I had time to get some food in one of the bars, and it was on in front of me while I was doing that, waiting on my flight to leave. But Saturday, I was fully locked in. Sunday, credit to Matsuyama, and then a lack of credit to anyone else. Credit to the course. It was pretty boring. I mean,
it was kind of boring.
There was never the drama, because Ryan Brown and I talked about this a little bit last time he was on the show with all of us. Augusta is a great television course and a great tournament course because of the way the holes are set up. So for TV, everybody goes, oh, the Masters really starts on the second 9 at Augusta on Sunday. Because you don't say back 9, it's second 9 at Augusta.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Patrons, not fans. Come on. Keep
Okay.
up. So the way the holes are engineered, lots of birdies and some eagles on 13 and 15. Well, so typically when the guys chasing the leader get to 13 and 15, they make birdie, they make eagle, they close the gap, but it's a very artificial gap closing because the leader is probably going to birdie and eagle 13 and 15 too. And there's some trouble there, but it's a very gettable set of holes once you get through Amen Corner. So even for that standpoint, Matsuyama's lead was 4 and 5 the whole time, and it's like there's no real danger here unless somebody goes on some crazy run. Schauffele double bogeys a couple of holes, bogeys a hole. He ends up kind of out of it. I mean, frankly, Zalatoris was the guy where you went, well, maybe if he went birdie,
that guy
birdie
needs a
or did
cheeseburger
something
bad.
weird. He is a little thin, isn't he? He's a little thin.
He is rail thin.
Golfers are scared to change their physique, though, because their swing changes when they do so.
I'd never heard of him.
Well, he's a rookie. He doesn't even have PGA Tour status.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's been on the Korn Ferry Tour.
What I liked was when Matsuyama finishes up on Saturday, he just looks like, so I think I might go get something to eat now. And I'm going to head back. There's just no emotion. He's fine. Just didn't care.
I mean, and he's been one of the best 40 golfers in the world for a decade.
Even yesterday, it's like Jim Nance is trying to pull these answers out of him, and he finally starts asking the interpreter the question.
Well, he gets during his ceremony or whatever, he basically has the interpreter go, thank you to the fans and thank you to whatever. And then he just walks off after like 2 sentences, and like somebody walks over and is like, hey, you got to thank the tournament, like the Augusta, like, hey, whatever. And he walks back and is like, oh, yeah, really appreciate y'all for letting me play. And then that's it. It kind of walks off, and that was it. There was no glowing remark. There was nothing overly crazy.
Ginger says he cried, I thought. He did tear up.
No, look,
it was emotional, but he just isn't like.
What I found interesting was he told one of the media members that essentially shyness, stage fright, whatever you want to call it, he does not handle interviews well. He doesn't like the media. He has a hard time. And it's been surrounding him his whole life. I mean, he's the Tiger Woods of Japan. I mean, Japan, to have so few golf courses per capita compared to area and whatnot, right, they're pretty golf obsessed. So, I mean, he's had a lot of pressure on him for a long time. And he mentioned that one of the reasons why he felt so comfortable this week was that there was such a limited media presence because of the pandemic. Oh. That he thought he played better and was calmer with fewer. There were only 2 Japanese media outlets credentialed this weekend.
Did they do in-person media, or did they have to still Zoom it?
I thought there was some in-person, but I don't know. Okay. I'm not really sure. But they were at least on the grounds, following. Right. I mean, you're still got a presence around you, depending on how many there were. But I was reading somebody this morning, it might have been Sean Martin from the PGA Tour, who interviewed one of the 2 Japanese reporters who had been sent to Augusta to just cover Matsuyama this week. Mm-hmm. And was kind of relaying his week and what it looked like, because he didn't cover a lot of golf. He covers baseball primarily. But he gets sent to Augusta, and everywhere that they send these guys from Japan to cover, I guess him, the PGA Tour, you don't cover anyone else. You are sent there in every tournament to cover Matsuyama, whether he finishes first or tied for 71st.
Gotcha.
You're just covering Matsuyama, whatever is going on.
Sure.
So he mentioned that he felt a little better about it. But it was, I don't know, I guess when Matsuyama bounded the ball into the water at 15, Schauffele had cut it to 2 right there. And we had like 2 minutes of, well, maybe, and then Schauffele hits it in the water on 16, and that was it. And it was like, okay, no, it's over now.
Yeah, and then once Matsuyama hit the tee shot at 18 right down the middle,
there's not enough trouble to double bogey.
It's like it's over.
There's nothing you can do. I am really, though, assuming that was him, and it did definitely appear to be him, and he had the jacket, unless it was photoshopped or something. I really don't understand why he was not flying privately leaving Atlanta. Like, I don't, maybe he just didn't want to.
I guess he'd booked the flight,
Okay. But, I mean, even, it's not like he needed the paycheck from Augusta. The man is worth $50 million. I mean, he's been very good at golf for a very long time.
He was in the middle seat. I'm kidding.
But seriously, I mean, was he flying Southwest? Like, what's he doing?
I assume it was like Delta.
Just
Atlanta to Chicago to...
The jacket's not in a garment bag? It was draped over the seat.
Yeah, and then they showed him boarding the plane. He's just holding it in his arm. Like he's going to put it in the overhead bin.
I got nothing. I'm so confused.
This is great. I saw it. I was like, that's my guy right there.
He was wearing an Augusta National cap.
Yeah.
It's like he went in the pro shop and just bought one.
Probably did. He liked it. He liked the cap.
Okay. That's great.
I like that guy. He's a hell of a player, too. So?
I'm just, I don't know. Yeah, look, Xander played well. I mean, he lost it early on because if he doesn't do the bogey, double bogey, whatever it was, I mean,
that's a golf name if there's ever been a golf name.
Xander Schauffele.
Xander Schauffele. You hear that name and you're like, golf.
He's less of your guy.
I don't know anything about him. Yeah. What I noticed yesterday, because I did my long run yesterday on the thing, and so I had the TV on the Masters, and I had my iPad on Ole Miss, Arkansas.
Sure.
But I noticed like they kept showing the leaderboard. I'm like, I don't know those guys. I don't know that guy. I don't know that guy. I don't know that guy. And it's like, must be a lot of new guys that are kind of breaking in.
Well, I mean, so many of the big guys missed the cut. I mean, Spieth made a run. He finished third or whatever he did.
So he kind of had my interest a little bit because he's sort of exciting because you don't really ever know what you're going to get.
He's not Tiger. He's not the Needle, but he makes golf better when he's good.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
He's interesting. From 2014 to now, he's been beat by a total of 6 golfers at Augusta, and he only has 1 title. It's almost kind of amazing that he's always there.
Tell you he's due.
But, I mean, he's a remarkable story, just the way he's been able to come back and win in a distance era a little bit after being mentally discombobulated to a point for 2 or 3 years. I mean, he won the Valero last week, and that's the first time he'd won a golf tournament since the British Open in 2017. So he'd gone 3 years without winning, 3 full seasons, or whatever you want to call it, the last season from a speed standpoint. Justin Thomas made the cut but didn't really make a run. But, I mean, you're talking Rory out of it, Dustin Johnson out of it, Brooks Koepka out of it. Rahm played pretty well, but a lot of the big names were not even around on the weekend to do anything.
Looked like they were enforcing the mask thing pretty heavily.
That wouldn't shock me. Well, and it was a very – you couldn't just go win the lottery or get the tickets. I mean, it was a chosen group of patrons for the event. Somehow that became political and Augusta's fault. But I'm sure they chose to not have any fans there. That was the way they wanted the Masters.
So you're saying that take was not right, but it was wrong?
I'm saying that Augusta National likes money, maybe more than any other place on God's green earth, and that, yes, they would have liked to have made the millions and millions and millions of Pro Shop dollars that would have been available and selling all the peach ice cream sandwiches for $1.50 that they could and the whole deal, and had the pictures of mass humanity covering the golf course. Frankly, maybe another reason Matsuyama won, not just the media, but he's not surrounded by people. If he's got any type of thing where he does not handle that well, especially look, he's used to playing in the U.S., don't get me wrong, but he doesn't speak English overly well. I mean, it's still probably a little bit of a stressful environment for him.
You telling me he probably wears headphones when he goes to the grocery store?
I feel certain.
There you go. This is my guy. I got to get a T-shirt.
I bet he wears headphones on the range while he's warming up.
There was one cat that was teeing off on the first hole. It looked like he had the headphones on.
Is that legal?
I don't know, but he had them on.
Did he really?
Yeah, and I was like, wait,
you think he just forgot to take them off on the range?
That's my guess.
Yeah.
But my interest was piqued. I was like, no, who's this dude? Because
he's just going to be jamming the whole time.
He might be my guy.
It felt like a normal Masters except for just the lack of surprise or whatever. I mean, it was just sort of
But it was kind of comforting after all the crap we've been through to look up and there's the Masters in April.
It's the perfect tournament at the perfect time. April, spring, renewal, everybody kind of gets into it.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to lie to you. The more normal stuff that we can start getting, the more I can feel my mood lifting.
Look, that was the deal. I mean, full circle here. That was the deal at Swayze.
I know.
It felt completely normal.
I know. Everyone keeps drinking
I was walking through the stands to go talk to a couple people on Sunday before the game, and, I mean, it was just like, we're just hanging out. I mean,
I know.
It's
my point. Everyone wants to make this about the baseball, and the baseball was fine. They were tied at 14.
Everybody had a beer, and everybody's just chilling.
At the top of the 8th inning on a Sunday, it's 14-14. Don't tell me one team dominated the other. They didn't. It was two really good teams, and one was going to win 2 games, and it happened to be Arkansas. Yeah. The bigger story, and I don't say that with any to take anything away from what Arkansas did. Again, they went 5-1 in the state of Mississippi in SEC play. That's getting it done this year. Kudos to them. But the story was Swayze, the atmosphere. Because if you're Mississippi State, like you were telling me, Mississippi State's not gone all the way open.
It feels like they're doing some weird number stuff. I don't know. Something's up there.
Well, their hand-raised guy.
Now, we'll figure out this weekend because it's Super Bowl weekend.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Let's see what happens.
If I'm hand-raised guy in Starkville this week, today, in the staff meeting, I'm raising my maroon hand and saying, hey, y'all did see Oxford, right?
Let's do that.
We should probably do that because I think we probably could do that.
I'm going to laugh at something Lane Kiffin did in a second. Before we do that, I'll tell you about Northeast Spark, NESPARC.com. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford Studio. Your hometown team bringing world-class broadband. NESPARC.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service available. Parental controls, network security, wireless mesh extender, and more. It's popping up all over Oxford, so call, see if it's available to you, and if so, get it. Again, 662-238-3159.
Also brought to you by Bain, Moss & Bowen, located in historic downtown Corinth, Mississippi. Their firm practices a wider range of law, from DUI defense to car wrecks to representing government entities. It's the only firm in Mississippi made up of a sitting state legislator, a former assistant district attorney, and a former circuit court judge. Their experience is unmatched in that regard. You can tap into it by visiting them at 618 East Waldron Street in Corinth or by calling them at 662-287-1620. Also brought to you by Alpha Specialties, located at 1670 Highway 80 in Pearl, Mississippi. It is your trailer-specific professional. If you want to haul it, they can call it. It's the premium trailer dealership in Mississippi. They've got Load Trail. It's the premium brand trailer, the highest quality utility equipment dump and gooseneck trailer being built today. They also have Hallmark cargo trailers, one of the most quality cargo trailers on the market. It's perfect for hauling goods to markets and shows, ATVs to deer camps, hauling race cars, and more. So get in touch with them. Ask them about their spare tires and wheels starting at just $100. Ask about their ability to repair all types of trailers at 601-932-9798 or alphaofms.com. We're also brought to you by Blue Delta Jeans. They make the best fitting, most comfortable jeans in the world because they are uniquely made for you and only you. Raw denim jeans, custom fit, hand-tailored in Tupelo, Mississippi. One size fits one at BlueDeltaJeans.com. Double deckers not happening, but Blue Delta is happy to present the Blue Delta Blues Alley on April 23rd, 24th. It's not this weekend, but the next. The weekend of the LSU home baseball series, also the weekend of the Grove Bowl. On that Friday night, Joe Austin and the Tallahassees will play from 4 to 6. And then 6 to 8 will be Grammy Award-nominated Jimmy Duck Holmes, the proprietor of Blue Front Cafe, the oldest surviving juke joint in Mississippi. Joe Austin and the Tallahassees will be back on Saturday for an afternoon of music from 2 to 6. So come on out to the Blue Delta studio. Have a great time celebrating Oxford. And don't forget, Rebel Grove listeners can redeem 10% off at the Oxford studio. And also, happy birthday to Nick Weaver of Blue Delta Jeans. His birthday was yesterday. I sent him a little note. Happy birthday, Nick. Also brought to you by The Rogue. The Rogue is your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylish hand-select pieces from top designers, work to lifestyle to nightlife. There's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey True Grit, and more. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson or therogue.com. And we're brought to you by Joey Erickson, Herring Gear Chevrolet. Let him help you find the vehicle you're looking for at a price you can afford. Choose from a full selection of new Chevy vehicles or get a great deal on numerous brands of reliable pre-owned vehicles. Give Joey a call or text 662-571-2367 or stop by 1685 High Street in Jackson to test drive that new or used vehicle you've been wanting. Let him earn your business. Mention the Oxford Exxon Podcast or the Soft Verbal Podcast. You'll get a $50 gas card.
So, Elijah Drinkwitz trying way too hard again. Paul Feinbaum says, happy birthday to the youngest head coach in the SEC, Coach Drinkwitz. Little graphic there from Feinbaum. I assume they do that with most every SEC coach, considering they're bought and paid for by the SEC Network.
Yes.
Drinkwitz quote tweets it and says, bet Lane Kiffin will be jealous. Lane comes back and goes, guess I'm just the coolest in the SEC. Sunglasses. Have fun at Chuck E. Cheese tonight, Coach. Sorry I can't make it.
Oh, God. Why do you go at who's? I mean, listen, got to give Nick Saban credit for this. When Nick Saban goes at Lane Kiffin, he does it on a football field. He does not do social media.
Well, Drinkwitz is a good football coach. He is. He's a really good football coach.
Yeah, he's fine.
But everything he does publicly looks like the really, really nerdy kid that can't get to the right table at lunch.
Yeah.
I mean, every single thing he does. Notice me, notice me,
he should just tweet,
notice me.
Lane, please be my friend.
I mean, my God. I have a cool T-shirt, too. Like,
that's unreal.
He would bother me if I'm a Missouri fan. Like, just stop. Just coach. You're good.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
He's a good football coach.
Building a good program.
He's not one of the worst football coaches in the league.
Oh, no. Might be upper tier.
He would have won here to a certain extent, but he would have driven fans apeshit crazy.
Listen, it's hard to even imagine because Kiffin has people so excited.
That's what Arkansas doing this, and then
well,
Drinkwitz is.
That's what I kept thinking about today. Over the weekend was, hey, look, I know this is a big baseball series, and it's number 2 versus number 3 or whatever it was, and a big rivalry and all that stuff, but. It is baseball. Mm-hmm. What's football going to be like? I mean, I kept thinking about I don't know which. I know it is a non-league game first.
Austin Peay is first.
I don't know who's the first league game.
I don't either.
But this place is going to be up for freaking grabs.
You're expecting a crowd that day.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be a zoo.
Well, actually, it's a ton of kind of mid games. So. Louisville and Atlanta.
Yeah.
Austin P, Tulane, an open date, Alabama on the road. They don't have a home league game until October 2nd against Arkansas, October 9th against Arkansas.
Well, if this weekend was any indication, that'll be crazy.
Road, home, road, home, road, home, or whatever. Yeah. They alternate the first couple and then have a couple differently.
Tulane will be a big game. I don't mean a game. I'm talking about atmospheres. I just think I got the sense people are ready to pop.
Obviously, no game times yet for anybody who's asking. I don't know.
Is the game televised?
Yeah, sure. CBS.
2:30.
Louisville will be on ESPN. I don't know what.
Yeah, 2:30.
Which Louisville's been moved to Monday, right?
Yeah, I'm just my stock
It's on
answer
Labor
is
Day.
CBS 2:30.
30. Is there always one game on Labor Day? Or is it multiple?
Has been recently. They've been. I don't know. They've played a couple on Labor Day.
Do they?
Yes.
No, I mean like inside Labor Day. Are there 2 or 3 games, or is it just one showcase?
Sometimes
game?
there's 2 games.
Okay.
I think.
That's a pretty good game. Louisville's not bad.
No, I mean
They're an emerging program.
if you're Ole Miss, you're thrilled. You're going to get tons of eyeballs on Monday night.
You should be favored.
Yeah.
Ole Miss plays Austin P in baseball tomorrow. If anybody would care, 6:30 for that one.
Is that on TV?
SEC Network Plus. Yes, streaming. Richard or Will Kohlmeyer or somebody doing that.
Yeah. Corey Hamill says he thinks Austin P will be packed, especially with the Grove and tailgating back. I think I agree. I'm telling you.
Can't wait for the complaining when that thing's starting at 11 a.m. Everybody's like, "Oh, come on!
Yeah.
Give me the 3 or the 6:30 start on the Austin P."
The only catch with that is that sometimes people are like, you know what, if 3 o'clock it's so freaking hot in September and whatever, but
Yeah.
who knows? I just think people are going to be so excited to be able to do the tailgating thing again and all that stuff.
No, Tulane will be packed. There's
Yeah,
no doubt about that.
It'll be a circus.
When's the return trip down there?
I don't know.
Are they doing one?
So what league teams come here? Arkansas?
Vanderbilt, A&M, LSU.
Okay.
At Tennessee, at Alabama, at State, at Auburn.
At Auburn. Okay.
Yeah. That is the and then the Flames come in November 6th.
I knew about that one.
Liberty.
Because I keep getting asked about that. Every time I do like a radio show or something.
Really?
It's about, yeah. I did a show in Montgomery the other day and they asked about.
Do they think that like people are in frenzy about it here or what?
I
What's
think
the
they
deal?
think it's going to be just this crazy atmosphere, and maybe it will be. I don't. I think it's going to be fairly tame.
The week will be stupid. From a media, people just
Unless Hugh handles it right and does one press conference,
really enjoyed my time there. Thankful for everything we did. Blah, 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 blah.
hate the way it ended. That's
Yeah.
on me.
Always love those guys.
Oh, yeah, et cetera.
Cheer for them when they're not playing us.
Yeah.
All that
Lane's
crap.
done a great job. I really like Lane.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be
I
easy.
saw him in Oxford first week he was hired. We had dinner.
A PR coach could guide him through it, and he'd be fine.
So in saying that, it's going to be a crazy week
Yeah, so
in
there you
Oxford that week.
He's liable to get combative about stuff. I don't think so.
Will there be national retrospectives that week?
Yeah.
Will any of that stuff pop back?
They've written it so much.
I know,
that
that's what I mean.
Don't know how. A lot of it depends on what Ole Miss's record is. I
If they're
actually think
really in the
Ole Miss is going to be pretty good, and I don't think that's going to be the story around the Ole Miss program at that point. When's the Auburn game? When are they retiring Eli's jersey?
October 30th is the Auburn game in Auburn. I don't know what they rescheduled that to. Not sure. Is it LSU October 23rd?
That's when I would do it.
Yeah. I don't know. A week after Lane's return trip to Knoxville.
It's a good question here.
Uh-huh.
So, I watch a lot of NBA, and when an NBA player goes back to where he played for a few years, they'll do a tribute video.
Okay.
It's kind of their way of going, hey, it's all good. Keep the peace. Does Ole Miss do a tribute video for?
I would have no problem with it. Fans would lose their minds and not want it.
I think you're right. I don't do one.
I don't think they will. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't crucify them if they did, but fans would be pretty pissed off.
I might just simply say, welcome back to Oxford, Hugh Freeze, right before the game starts.
One little just quick.
Hey, welcome back to Oxford, Liberty coach Hugh Freeze, former Ole Miss coach Hugh Freeze, and let everybody stand up and do a golf clap, and then you're done.
We're not going to hit the strobe lights and
No. I wouldn't do all that.
Treadwell and the whole deal.
Well, because if you do the tribute video, you're
glossing over a couple things.
You set yourself up for the big punchline.
Yeah, no. No. It's different if it's...
You just welcome back Hugh Freeze. You don't go full Oklahoma City when Russell Westbrook came back. No.
Big video that night.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh yeah, no,
it's all good.
He was the face of the franchise for more than a decade. He was great. Did so much
That's
for the
true.
community.
They did put Tuberville back on the board, so I mean,
well, that's true.
I mean, was that the same night they auctioned off a DAC helmet?
Yes.
Was that when we got done? Like, okay, who's behind the steering wheel here? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
They're like, well, it was a different.
And that was the same night that I got back home because I had called you on the way. We were so blown away by the Tuberville thing that we were still talking about it afterwards. I got home because I said, I'll talk to you tomorrow. I got home and the phone's blowing up with Dave Doran stuff. And I'm just like, okay, I had intended to be in bed and sleep by like midnight, and I'm still up at 2 o'clock talking to people about Dave Doran.
He signed a big contract.
Did he?
Yeah.
Good for him.
Big extension. His life completely got changed by whatever.
Yeah.
There those few days. Signed through 2025. I don't know how much, but Dave Doran, 49 years old, 55 and 46 all time.
Would have been we could go down that path many times.
Yeah,
would have been a better hire than what they did.
Yeah. All right, some more baseball tomorrow. I'm going to look at kind of some pitching stuff. Hopefully, Ole Miss, they probably don't need to walk 17 moving forward on the weekend. So we'll look at some of those different options as the week moves on to Ole Miss and Mississippi State Super Bulldog weekend in Starkville starting Friday for that series. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday night game ESPNU with the one national televised game for that one. And then I guess another open spring practice on Saturday as well. So we'll talk a little about that tomorrow too. We kind of push that to the side, but plenty of time throughout the week. We have more hours with you. Be safe. Have a good day. Enjoy the weather. We'll talk to you tomorrow.